All right, so hello. Well, here we'll be solving some exercises. So related to 6.5. Here, the first question say, which of the following statement is true? You can see that the first one is true because 3/4 is in what? This is true because we know that 3/4 is inside what? The domain of cosine inverse, which is from -1 to 1. So this is true. Now, if you look at this one, is this true? No, this is not true. Why? Because you have sine. This is sine inverse of what? What is sine pi? Remember, sine pi is what? 0, right? So it means you are looking for sine inverse of 0. But what is sine inverse of 0? Sine inverse of 0 is what? Is 0, right? So this is not true. Now, this is also not true. Why is it not true? Because cosec inverse is not the same thing as 1 over sine inverse, right? So there is no these reciprocal. This is reciprocal identities. Only what we know is that if you have cosec x is what? 1 over what? Sine x, right? This is true. But cosec inverse and sine inverse, no, we don't have that relationship. Then tan inverse, this is also not true. Tan inverse of x is not the same thing as sine inverse of x over cosine inverse of x. What we have is that tan x is what? Sine x over cosine x. Then this one is saying that sine cosine inverse of this is, now for this one, you can watch that what? This is cosine inverse, right? But what is outside here is not cos. It's not cosine. So we cannot use, remember we had, if you have cos cosine inverse of x, this is equals to x, as long as x belongs to what? The domain of cosine inverse, right? But that is not going to work here because what you have outside has nothing to do with cosine, right? So what you do here is just evaluate it. This means sine of, what is cosine inverse of what? Cosine inverse of half. What is cosine inverse of half? Cosine inverse of half is going to be pi over 3, right? So this is pi over 3. You can do it directly. Yeah. So this is pi over 3. Now, what is sine pi over 3? Sine pi over 3 is something as sine 60. This is root 3 over what's, okay, let me just, this is what we have, cosine inverse of half. This is simply sine pi over 3, and this is root 3 over 2. Okay. So the only correct answer is what? Correct statement is A. All right, now if you look at this one also, we can do it quickly. This is what? Remember, sine inverse is odd. So let me write it here. We have sine inverse of minus root 3 over 2 plus sine inverse of sine of 5 over 7, right? Okay. Now, this one we can handle it easily. This is what? Sine inverse is odd, so I can bring the minus out. So we have sine inverse of what? Root 3 over 2. And what is this one? This is just going to be minus sine inverse of root 3 over 2 is what? You need a number between minus pi over 2 and pi over 2, whose sign will be root 3 over 2. And I think that will be sine what, 60, right? So which is pi over 3. So this is minus pi over 3. So plus this one, we have to check. You can see clearly that this is, okay, let me just rewrite it, sine. All right, there's no need. This is 5 pi over what? Over 7. So here, we just have to check if 5 pi over 7, is it in the domain of sine? And what is the domain of sine? Which is minus 2, minus pi over 2, and pi over 2. So clearly this is true, because if you have minus pi over 2 and pi over 2, you just want to compare 5 over 7. So 5 over 7 is going to be somewhere here. Yeah, because all you need to do is to compare between 5 over 7 and 1 over 2. If you cross multiply, you see this will be 10. If you cross multiply, this will be 7. So it means that what? It means that what? Which one is bigger? So what can we do in that case? All right, so I think here is something wrong. This is not true. 5 pi over 7 is not inside this, because you can see 5 over 7 is bigger than what? 1 over 2. So it means that this interval, it's something like this. So if you have pi over 2 and minus pi over 2, pi over 2, definitely 7 pi is going to be somewhere here. So it's not inside. So it means you have to use reference. But if you look at this is 5 pi over 7. So 5 pi over 7 is going to be in which quadrant? Is in the second quadrant, in quadrant 2, because 5 over 7 is less than 1. So, but in the second quadrant, we know sine is still positive, so we'll have sine inverse of what? Sine, and here will be pi minus what? 5 pi over 7. So what are we using here? Reference. So this will be plus sine inverse of what? Sine. And this now is going to be what? 2 pi over 7. Right. Now, we have to check again now. So how do you check? We also check to see if 2 pi over 7 is it inside minus pi over 2 to pi over 2? Yes, so you can achieve that by comparing 2 over 7 and 1 over 2. This will be 4 and this will be 7. So 2 over 7 is less. So this is just going to be minus pi over 3 plus, your answer here is just going to be 2 pi over 7, right? And that means that we can multiply this by 7. So this is minus 7 pi over 21 plus, multiply this by 3, which will be 6 pi over 21. And this will become minus what? Pi over 21. The final answer. Okay, for number 3, is similar. So we have two paths, this path and also this. So let's deal with it one by one. Let's start with this one. So this first part is similar to what we did before. You can see that what this is in which quadrant? This is in quadrant 3. Since it's in quadrant 3, but first of all, you need to see that this number is not inside this interval. So if we use quadrants, this will become sine inverse of minus, because we're in the third quadrant, and this will be minus pi. So here we use the reference as well. So we will have sine inverse of minus sine of what? Pi over 6, right? But sine is odd, so this negative can come out. So you have minus sine inverse of sine pi over what? Over 6, right? And this is just going to be minus pi over 6. Why? Because I know that pi over 6 is inside minus pi over 2 to pi over 2. So the final answer here is this one. Okay, that is for the first part. Now let's take the second part. So for this part, what do? We're interested in tan of cosine inverse of minus half. We can go easily clear. This is tan inverse of what? What is cosine inverse of minus half? Cosine inverse of minus half, we can find that easily, right? So here, we can spend some time. We can go directly. But if you look at this, cosine inverse of minus half is just going to be 2 pi over 3, right? Which is 120. And then this will just be tan of what? Of 120. So this is tan . So here we have tan of 2 pi over 3, right? Because cosine inverse of minus half is 120, right? Which is 2 pi over 3. And this is just going to be tan of what? 120. This is in the second quadrant, right? So this is in the second quadrant. So this is minus tan of what? Of 2 pi over 3. No, not 2 pi, but 180, which is pi minus 2 pi over 3, right? So this is just minus tan pi over 3, but which is minus root of 3, because tan pi over 3 is tan 60, which is this. So you can see that if you add the two together, you will have minus pi. So it means that this one, the answer of this one is what? Minus pi over 6. And this side is what? Minus root 3. So the final answer is just this one. Now, if you look at number 4, very interesting question. This is also cosine inverse and sine. But we cannot find cosine. You don't know what is sine of pi over 5, right? So since we can't find sine of pi over 5, then it means we cannot proceed. So what we can do is we can do some little conversion. This we can write it as cosine inverse of what? This is pi over 5. We can change cosine to sine. So this becomes, we can change sine to cosine using the cofunction identity. So we can write this as cosine of pi by 2, which is 90 minus pi by 5, right? So we just change sine to cosine using the cofunction identity. So now this will be cosine inverse of cosine. Now, if you look at this, pi over 2 minus pi over 5 is just going to be 3 pi over 10. Okay? So now we need to check, but recall that if you have cosine inverse of cosine, this is equals to x. If the x is where? Is in 0 pi, right? So here, our answer is just what? 3 over 10. Why? Because you will see that 3 pi over 10 is what is in the interval 0 and pi. So the answer is A. So this is, let me just mark here what we are using here. This is cofunction identity. Okay, so here we're asked to find the range. I think we did similar stuff already. How do you find the range of this? I think we already solved this question actually. But let's do it again. If you want to find the range, this is sine inverse, right? Whatever is the range of sine inverse. So the range of sine inverse of 2x plus 1 is what? Is nothing but minus pi over 2 to pi over 2. This is always true. Then we just need to use this now to try to get what is y. So what does this mean? This means that you have minus pi over 2 is less than equals to sine inverse of x. 2x plus 1 is less than pi over 2. So we can try to formulate this. Here you can see that you have 2, so we can multiply everything by 2. So this both the three-sided inequality. This becomes 2x plus 1 less than equals to what? Less than equals to pi, right? And now you can subtract pi again from all the sides. So this becomes minus pi less than 2 sine inverse of 2x plus 1 minus pi less than equals to pi minus pi. And this will become minus 2 pi is less than equals to 2 sine. Now, what we have in the middle here is the same thing as what? Is the same thing as y. So you have y, and this will give us what? 0. So we have from minus 2 pi up to 0. That is the range. Okay, yes. So I think this is the end for this video series for 6.5. Thank you for watching. You can share with your friends, and if you have not yet subscribed, kindly do that and turn on the notification so that you can receive other videos as well. Thank you for watching.